People come to me because I'm a real estate expert and I know a lot about real estate. I've been doing it a long time, but they also come to me and say, so how much can I qualify for? And I say, whoa, I am not a lending expert. That is a different thing. That is a different industry. If you have real estate questions, ask me. If you have lending questions, ask my guy, Greg Peppler. He and I have done a lot of business together. We always succeed at it. But how important is the lending process in this greater real estate transaction, and when are you coming into it?
The first thing that we do as a lender, which I think is like the foundation, is we send them a mortgage coach. And a mortgage coach is like a total cost analysis, and depending on what their situation is, I give them like 3 price points. Okay, like you want maybe $1 million, but let's just see what 800 looks like, let's see what 900 looks like, and let's see what $1 million looks like. So they get this in email. It's a link. I do a video with it too, which is super cool. So it's very intuitive, and it has in there their principal and interest payment, it has their taxes, it has their real estate, the taxes, and it has their homeowner's insurance, and then it has like an estimate of what the closing costs will be. To your point, you have to be relatable, and I think you also have to have empathy because, for me, like I've bought and sold real estate, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to, try to buy when you have a 2 and 5-year-old and, you're trying to buy a house and like how difficult it is. So I think you do that by, again, being relatable and also understand what they're going through. Like I said, I know what it's like on the other side of that table. The other nice thing too that we have is, which no other lending team I know does this, is when you go into escrow, we assign a personal loan manager. Susie?
Yeah.
So
Susie.
Which nobody else does. When that's an expert from contract to close, you have their cell number, their email, and not only am I there, but then you have somebody else that's going to guide you through the whole process from start to finish. And they're an expert. They do a lot of stuff better than I can do. So they're juggling between the title and escrow and the appraiser. So the thing is, a lot of these people feel like they're being taken care of, because it is stressful and it can be, arduous and cumbersome at times. And so you have a whole team of people that are there and have your best interests at heart. So I think, that's what we do really well.
So everybody's worried about, they see a house on Zillow, Redfin late at night. I want to buy it. I need it now. Give it to me. If I tell them, call Greg Peppler tomorrow, how long will it take for them to be pre-approved?
The process, once somebody contacts me, we start off with what's called our hopes and dream call. So I talk to them. I want to hear, what, feel like that?
You're about to pop their bubble. Hopes and dreams. Yeah, okay, so thanks for sharing. Now let me give you reality.
Yeah. Hopes and crush your dreams call. We normally, because we want to build rapport, talk to them, like I said, bring a little humanity and be relatable and hear what they want to do and what their situation is. And then normally I follow that up with sending over the loan application. And in that same email, I also have a template of the documents we need. So in terms of how quick it is, it really depends on, how quickly they get their stuff back. So more intensive a file, somebody that's self-employed and has 5 businesses, that's going to take a lot longer than somebody, who's a RN at Kaiser who's looking to buy, a condo. Like we can do that calculation rather quickly. But overall, normally if you're looking for a pre-approval and you have everything, from the time I talk to them on the phone till I send the email the same day, we're probably looking at, if they send everything the next, probably 48 hours and get a pre-approval.
Okay.
But sometimes it takes longer if there's trailing documents, if there's something that, like I said, if somebody's self-employed, sometimes not everything comes over, we need clear copies. But the nice thing also about our team is not only do I get that stuff and I review it, but I also give it to our pre-approval team. So it's another checks and balances that we have. So, because you don't want, again, the worst thing that you want to have happen is me saying, hey, Jeff, they're good to go, right? And then you're out showing houses for 6 months and they don't qualify, and that's not me, and that's not good. So not only do I review it, but then the pre-approval team is another set of eyes, Jody and Lindsay, and they review everything, and they're experts at income and all that, and so they review it, and then we can finally give the green light. So we just like to be super thorough up front because it's a lot of time and effort for everyone. So,
yeah.
But normally you're probably looking at if you get the stuff and you're on it, 2-3 days. Gotcha. Then I can write the letter and send it.
So Greg, I get all these misconceptions of people asking me weird things about what's happening in real estate that is just not accurate at all. What are some of the common misconceptions or misinformation that people bring to you that you often hear?
I think the first part is that people are they think of the process is super, super cumbersome. It's very difficult. It's you have to sit down and you have to have all these meetings and get stuff done. And a lot of times it's a phone call Not only that, but we can also digitally verify a lot of people's income. So, which means that once they get their social security and their date of birth, we can pull their income and their bank statements from their bank, which you couldn't do that 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Everything was paper. So the actual process is a lot easier to qualify than, the misconception out there that it's, scary and it's hard and it's, it's just a daunting task, and it's not true. The other big thing I would say is that everyone just thinks that you have to have 20% to put down. That's like the biggest one, I would say. The lending rules have changed, and we can go as little as, if you're a VA, we can go 0 down, which is awesome. The VA benefit allows 0. First time home buyer, we can do 3.5%. And we can do them all without mortgage insurance. And then from there it goes, 5, 10, 15. And the other thing too is maybe 20%, even on top of that, maybe it's not even the most prudent decision to even do 20%. Because there's clients that will say they got a ton of money, right? And they're like, I don't even want to put down 20%. I'd rather go use that money and put in the, mutual funds or a stock that they like or something else. So there's people that can put down all cash, right? And they're not even putting down 20%, and they can do whatever they want.
Because the money's so cheap.
Yeah, and they'd rather put that money somewhere else. And then the other thing I've had with some of my past clients is they'll say, hey Greg, I'm at 15%, I want to save another 50 grand, so I can get my 20%.
Okay, Greg, so I come to you and I say, I have a house I want to buy, it's $800,000, I have 50, 100, 200,000 to put down, and you're telling me the rate is this. And I come back to you and say, I think I might want to wait. How do we figure out, should I buy now or should I wait and save more?
And that's where the education piece comes in. You're like, okay, I get that, right? You save another 50 grand. In this market, the houses, you want to wait till what, like December? You save another 50 grand so you get that bonus, or maybe next February. Okay, I understand that, right? But now home values by February of next year have gone up 70 grand, and interest rates could be a whole % higher. So your bottom, so not only do you're paying for a house that's $70,000 more, you also lost out on $70,000 in equity, and you save 50 grand for down payment, but your payment's actually going to go up because interest rates went up. So sometimes the 20% thing, it doesn't even make sense to even wait to even try to do that.
So what I'm hearing you saying is that you have people come to you and say, oh, those numbers don't look right, I need to wait so I can save up more money.
Right.
Then I'll be better off. And you're saying sometimes that applies, but not always.
No, and then so another thing that we send over is it's called a cost of waiting. So that's kind of like what I just said, where you send them over like a spreadsheet, very kind of like the mortgage coach I was talking about. It's like, if you wait 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, this is where the value of houses are going, this is where rates are going, and so it gives them all that information so they can see like, hey, waiting is probably going to be not a very prudent decision after all.
On my side, on the real estate side, the market is just completely bonkers. It's just nuts, man. What is happening on your side of things?
Well, as you know, it's the most competitive market I've ever seen since I've been doing this, and I started back at Countrywide in 2006, so I've been around the block a little bit. So there's that. I mean, and then the fact that there's no inventory. So we're seeing over ask 50, 100 grand. Even more than that. And I think more than ever right now, if you want to get your offer accepted, there's going to be multiple offers and everything. You got to work with a realtor or a lender that know what they're doing. People that can close quick, that can execute. Because if you're working with some realtor that doesn't know what they're doing, or somebody like a lender that's a big bank or a credit union, and they tell you we can't close for 60 days, or we can't meet these milestones, or I'm sorry, I'm not returning phone calls for a week or two, which happens all the time, you are not going to get your offer accepted. So I'm seeing very, very, very quick closes, which our team can execute because we have the manpower and the horsepower with our 40-person team, and then the appraisal contingencies of like 5-10 days, which we can also do. So more than ever, you have to be working with a good realtor and a good lender, more than any other market I've ever been in.
Agreed.
Okay. Like teaming up with somebody like Jeff, there's very few people I would refer to family and friends, and Jeff's at the top of the list because if you're working with somebody who's incompetent and not experienced, nothing's going to happen.
So if a future client is considering getting financed and coming to you and preparing to buy a home, what is something that they can do just prior to contacting you? What's something they can prepare themselves with?
I encourage people, if they want to learn more about us, that we have a huge social presence. You can read about us at GaylordHansen.com. And my brother, Mark, he's my business partner, and so we have about 300 5-star Zillow reviews. And so you can obviously read, these are all real reviews from past clients, you can't fake them. So, people, we encourage them to do their due diligence, and like we say, we have Nordstrom service and Costco price, so that's what you're going to get with us.